Okay, today we're going to build a responsive banner. This will just be a single state banner, so I'm going to switch over to the stage type banner, and I'm going to enter a name, responsive demo, save title. Couple things. First, we're going to upload our assets. I'm just uploading a zip file that'll unzip and show me all of the assets. In this case, it's really just some static assets. I don't think I'm going to use the video for the demo. But I do know that my stage size is going to be 1600 by 520. Now, if I wanted to build a unit that just scales sort of ratio-based responsive and doesn't have any breakpoints, it's very, very simple to build. So I'm going to drag a few items to the stage. In this case, here's my background. We'll just call this background 1600, give it a unique name, and just make sure it's locked to 0, 0. Next thing, I have a Watch Now button. Watch Now. No. Okay. And a rollover state for that. Hover. Okay, we got that on the stage. And the last thing is this Tune In. Tune In. This is called Tune In. You could have these just flattened to your background, but I do these separately just really to ensure that you can have a rollover state on your button, and separately you can add date swapping just to this one element and maybe reposition it if you need to. Okay, so here we have it. We have this unit. I'm going to save it, and I'm going to preview this in a new browser window. Now I'm going to unlock my browser window so that I can drag it around, and you'll see as I scale my browser window, it does not scale the add unit, which is not the functionality that we want. We want the unit to scale. To do that, right here, we're going to open our responsive settings, and right here you'll see window based on and scale on or off. I do want this based on window for this specific purpose, though often many people use slot. And what I'm going to do here is save this, refresh, and you'll see it kind of got a little bit bigger, and it will scale down and everything stays exactly in proportion to where I want it. So you could really use that same unit across all devices. Whether it has a video in it or any other elements, they'll all move together. I do want to set a maximum width because I don't want to blow this up beyond the 1600 width that I already have. And you could set a minimum width, so it never goes below 400 pixels. Save, and when you do that, you would see that reflected. As soon as you turn on scale, you can lock any element on the stage. So over here on the left, you'll see these locks, width, height, top, bottom, are all there to scale. Same thing with the stage, the height and width. Now that's really important if you do want something to scale differently than other pieces, which certainly doesn't make it as easy to look at the layout on these, but I'll try that right now. I'm going to take this tune in and I'm going to lock the left side position and the top position. So it's just going to stay in place, but it's also going to scale. So I'm going to save, reload this window, and you'll see that now it's overlapping because that's staying exactly in place at the exact top and bottom. It's not what you would want, but it's just to show you that feature. Separately, I can take that, unlock those locks, and lock the width and height of the sky right here. Save, reload. Now you'll see when you resize, Wednesday 10:09 Central is staying exactly the same size while everything else is scaling. So this gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of how things look as the unit changes between different sizes. Now I mentioned I wanted this to be with breakpoints. So again, that's very simple. I just add my breakpoints. In this case, I'm going to have two breakpoints. One is at 1200 and less, and the other is at 1600 and less. 1200, 1600. Now this says window with 1601 plus. That is not going to be used because we max out at 1600, but it is something that will be there as your default size. Quick note on this, window width is not your stage size. Your stage size can be whatever. Typically, you kind of want to match this, especially with scale between breakpoints. So at 1600, I'm going to click on my banner to look at the stage. It's 1600 by 520. Perfect. At 1200, I'm going to click on the stage size. I want that to be 1200 by 425. I'm going to type that in here, 425. Those are my two breakpoints that I care about. 1601 plus is going to be 1600 as well. Okay, so now apparently everything disappeared from the stage, but the elements are still here. So at 1601, I'd like all three of these elements to show up, and all I have to do is turn on this green light right here, and that shows the visibility on a specific layer. So I can resize these, reposition them, anything that I want to. But at this point, I'm going to just reposition them. And now I'm going to jump to my 1200 breakpoint, and I can use this to navigate or this up here to navigate. So I'm going to go to my 1200 breakpoint and again turn on my tune in and watch now buttons and reposition them. This time I'm going to put watch now above the tune in. But the last thing I need is my new background because I'm swapping out the background at this size. So I have a brand new element I'm going to add to the stage. Just drag it to the stage. This is a button module called background 1200 add. And I want to make sure I drag it below the other things. And I have watch now and tune in. So I'm just going to position these. It is a little hard to tell with this art, like what's happening. But we're going to say on this one, watch now is going to go right here. And the tune in is going to go right there. So we'll say, for some reason, they wanted it laid out like this at that breakpoint. And you can see how at a mobile size, something like that, you might want it laid out a little bit different. So what we have now is two breakpoints, 1200 and 1600, with different layouts. I'm going to save. Okay, refresh, reload. So you'll see at this breakpoint, everything's stacked like that. But as I change my browser down and I get to 1200 pixels, you'll see it shift. So that's my 1200 breakpoint. The background changed. Again, it's very similar, but you'll see the positioning of that completely changed. So what I'm showing you here is really the ability to jump between breakpoints and to have repurposed elements in those breakpoints, which makes Jetpack a very powerful tool, especially when utilized with the locks. And as I mentioned on the locks, we have the ability to lock on the banner size. So I can lock the height of the stage here. I can lock the height of the stage here. And if I save this and preview it, you're going to see what happens. The things that aren't locked are shifting as if they weren't locked. And then you'll see that expanse is staying fixed and starts to get cut off because it's aligned to the right-hand side there as we had set it up. So that's just a sense of what you can do with fixed height responsive. Definitely play around with this. Let your account manager know any notes or feedback you have. And if you have any questions, please refer to help.jetpack.net, where we have other online documents and tutorial videos. Thank you very much.